times how someone can be taken in broad daylight and no one even noticed. Coming in at number 5 for the most insane murder cases in the state of Oregon is the unaliving of Brooke Wilberger. She was a 19-year-old student at the Oregon State University. She stepped outside her apartment because she wanted to study outside in the sun. It was the middle of the day. Neighbors were home. Nothing felt dangerous, but Brooke never came back inside. Her belongings were left behind, and when friends couldn't reach her, they contacted police. Search efforts quickly spread all throughout the city and surrounding areas. And for years, there were no answers. And what investigators learned later was devastating. Brooke had been approached and forced inside of a vehicle by a stranger. She had been taken away from Cavolis and brought to a wooded, remote area. She did not survive. Her location remained unknown for more than 12 years. Then, 2016, a man named Joel Courtney, who was already incarcerated for another crime, came forward. He admitted that he was responsible for what happened to Brooke. Courtney led investigators to a forest area in rural Oregon, where her remains were finally discovered. He later pleaded guilty and received life in prison without any possibility of parole. After more than a decade, Brooke's family finally received answers and accountability. She was taken in the middle of the day, didn't have answers for 12 years. Coming in at number 4 for Oregon's most insane murder cases is the unaliving of Michael Franke. In January 1989, he stayed late at his office in Salem, Oregon. At the time, he was the director of Oregon Department of Corrections, responsible for overseeing the state prison system. As he walked to his car that night, he was met with sharp force injuries. He was found nearby and taken to a hospital where he later passed away. There were no clear witnesses, and the case immediately started raising questions. Investigators later confirmed that Franke had been raising concerns about internal problems with the correctional department, including misconduct and management issues. In 1991, a man named Frank Gable was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. The official explanation was that there was some type of robbery attempt gone wrong. However, over the years, the case remained controversial. Frank Gable maintained his innocence, and he was later released from prison. Franke's family also believed that he was innocent. Matter of fact, Frank Gable is now suing the state of Oregon for wrongful conviction. 2 teenage girls vanished from the same small town in Oregon months apart, and the person responsible was hiding in plain sight. In 2002, the quiet town of Malala was shaken when a 12-year-old girl, Ashley Pond, disappeared while she was walking home from school. The community searched everywhere. Her family held out hope, but weeks passed with no answers. Just 3 months later, another girl vanished, 13-year-old Miranda Gaddis. Same town, same fear, same silence. Parents stopped letting their kids walk alone. Search teams flooded the area, and one man kept showing up to help. A neighbor named Ward Weaver III. He volunteered. He talked to families. He acted concerned. But investigators started noticing things that didn't add up. Eventually, evidence led authorities to Weaver's property, where they uncovered the answers. Both girls had lost their lives, and the person responsible had been watching the search efforts the entire time. Weaver was sentenced to life without any release, and the town would never be the same again. A mother said a stranger ruined her family on a dark Oregon road. Investigators said that didn't make sense. In May 1983, Diana Downs drove herself and her 3 children to a hospital in Oregon, claiming a stranger approached her car near the Columbia River Gorge. She said a man attacked them and just disappeared into the night. But doctors immediately noticed that didn't line up. One child, Christy Downs, had injuries, showing she tried to protect herself and her siblings. Another child was left unable to walk for the rest of their life. As investigators questioned Diane, her story kept changing. Witnesses confirmed they didn't see anyone else on this road, and her behavior showed very little concern for her children. Obviously, something police found very unsettling. Then came the moment in the courtroom that shocked everyone. Christy, the daughter, testified that her own mother was responsible. Prosecutors revealed a motive involving her relationship with her children was seen as an obstacle. The jury believed the evidence. Diane Downs was sentenced to life in prison. He didn't hide from the police. He wrote them letters and signed them with smiley faces. In the early 1990s, a long-haul truck driver named Keith Jesperson began contacting law enforcement and media, not to ask for help, but to brag. He signed his letters with hand-drawn smiley faces, earning the nickname the Happy Face Unaliver. He traveled across multiple states, but Oregon was central. In 1990, a young woman named Tanya Bennett was found in Portland. For years, the wrong man sat behind bars for what happened to her. Then, Jesperson confessed. He provided details only the person responsible could even know. Details that matched the evidence and cleared the innocent man. But as investigators dug deeper, they realized Jesperson, it wasn't just confessing to one crime. He committed multiple unalivings across several states, some never publicly even connected. And what makes this case especially disturbing wasn't just the crimes itself, it was the way he wanted attention, taunting the police, inserting himself into the investigations. This person was convicted and sentenced life in prison without parole. Because his crimes in Oregon are confirmed, this case stands as Oregon's most insane and disturbing murder cases.